What's going on, guys? Ryan here, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the garden. This is not going to be quite the last video of this season, but it is going to be second to last because we have a lot to talk about. Ellie doesn't really know what this video is kind of about, so I'm kind of bringing her in to surprise her on some things. Yesterday I looked at all the footage that I have that was from several months, just a few clips here and there of us taste testing, of us showing you the garden, blah blah blah. There's some clips that I missed that was supposed to be in last episode, and I thought I don't know. This year has been quite busy and hectic when it comes to the garden, trying to get regular clips and organizing it and putting it out and whatever. And the garden this year, I would say, was more successful than last year. However, we didn't do a very good job on taking care of it, watering. And one of the big things is, did you have any cucumbers? Did you eat any cucumbers? No. I had 1 or 2 cucumbers, even though we had technically 2 plants growing, and I harvested a lot more. I think we really should only be growing produce that we are going to eat or we're going to use. And even though you were gone during August, like you always are, I can force myself to eat the cucumbers, but I'm not much of a cucumber guy. I actually have a clip that kind of, when I tried the cucumbers, I expressed that I'm not really into cucumbers. The thing is, man, I don't think I like cucumbers that much. How much do you like cucumbers?
I like cucumbers, but I don't have them often.
Okay, because I also felt like when we harvested them, they would go bad within like 2 days.
But I also think we were harvesting them too late.
Oh.
But that's also I don't think we are knowledgeable enough to know when to harvest them.
That would make sense. I kind of agree with that. I think I mentioned this to you a little while ago. I think we should stick with stuff that we actually do eat. I think like watermelon. I really want to try, because this time we got watermelon, but I don't know what happened. None of them were good, and there's still a few growing out there that I'm trying to save or see, but they're quite small and they aren't good. They don't really taste like anything, and the ones that do have a taste, they don't taste very well. And then the cantaloupe, I think we probably need to either find new seeds or something, even though they're still growing. I only had 2 cantaloupes grow, and they were very small. They were good, but they were very small, and there was very little on the actual, there's very little meat on the bones, and even though it was good, there wasn't a lot, and so we only had 2. Okay. There is not, enough cantaloupe on the rind to actually, eat them. It's not bad. Actually, I think it's pretty good. Obviously, like I just said, there's not much on here, so you can't really eat it that much. So I think we need to get new seeds there. The strawberries, fantastic. At the very start, we did plant seeds. They never came up. They never came through. I think we could try to do it properly and plant them beforehand and get them wet and do the whole put in the fridge, do this, do that, whatever the case may be for those. But I did end up getting strawberries from my aunt's house, and her strawberries are delicious. And I think we're going to have enough that we can just transplant them and then they'll grow and spread, and we don't have to actually replant anything. But they were really good. Because we only had a few plants, it only produced a little bit, and every time I would go out there and water, and if one was there and she was home, I would bring you 1 or 2 or whatever. But we didn't have a whole lot to actually eat or whatever. But I think they were really good, and I would love to stick with those. But I do think we need to replant them because they're outgrowing their pots. Everything else, like the cucumber, it was fine. It tasted fine. I had it with ranch. That's how I eat my cucumbers, but I don't really care to have them still. And I think maybe we'll talk about next year's plans in the next video or in the next season. But I think we definitely need to have stuff. I think raspberries, strawberries, cantaloupe, watermelon, and maybe one or two other things that we can try.
The problem is there are things that we are growing that we do cook with, like tomatoes, but they're not growing to a size that you can cook with.
They're very small, and a lot of them I felt like were going bad before it even went, like before it...
yes, we had a lot of like blossom end rot on our tomatoes. So before they even like ripened, or were even like starting to turn, like they were like green still, and they were going bad.
And the ones that were good, you bring them in, and they were really small, and we used a few of them, but I don't know, maybe just the placement, maybe thinning, maybe actually like taking care of it and trying harder with...
Maybe just doing a different tomato variety and not doing Romas again. Even though we cook the most with Romas, but like, does it really matter? Like, our jalapenos didn't come up.
No, and
sunflowers didn't come up.
I'd be fine with trying those again.
I think we need to start stuff inside. Like, I think that's what the experts say.
Okay. Well, I think we also will have to do better with the upkeep with the garden, because weeds have been really bad this year. I feel like worse than last year.
That's true.
Goat heads was a serious problem. Not necessarily in the garden, but there was plenty around it, plenty in the yard, plenty in the very back of the property. I forgot to record it, but while I was mowing, I saw this huge like goat head plant, and I like lifted it up here, and it touched the ground still. Like, it was really long, and I don't know why just this year more goat heads than last year. The year before, there was one year where I started to get a lot of goat heads in the yard, and so I just killed the whole piece of grass, and then I think the next year I replanted a section of it, and everything was fine, and then this year they came back. So I don't know, but I think just keeping up with the weeds, it's really hard to get out there and like water, especially when it's really hot or when you're busy or you're tired. It's a little bit further away from the house than I would like, but I think eventually it'll be even farther. Mm-hmm. But I just think the water, like, it's just work that we're gonna have to do, and the weeding. When the weeds are small, it's easy to pull them, but they just like come up pretty fast, and like you lose track of time, and then 2 weeks go by and the plant is like as tall as the actual plant. So you just have to do the upkeep, and I'm really tired of like going out there and spending like an hour or two pulling everything, and then 2 weeks later have to do it again. I think there's just the maintenance on it needs to be just consistent. But really, that's kind of like what this series is just, it's literally called Kindergardening for a reason, because we don't have any knowledge or expertise on it. And I think it might always be called Kindergardening, because I think there's always going to be improvement and room for improvement, and just, I'm not going to try to be an expert in it. I think it's just more of like a hobby type thing, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because with hobbies, if you try to take them too serious, then it kind of becomes
like a job or
a chore. But when you don't, that's what happens. You know, your whole garden just turns into weeds.
Time and money.
You're wasting time and money and energy, and I don't know. Our
green onions were very successful.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, the green onions.
I think we did plant too many.
But they were
surprisingly really easy too.
Really easy, yes. Really, like a lot came in. They seem to all do well.
They're pretty resilient too, because they were like getting stepped on, or like the hose. Yes. Like whenever I would water, I would forget and kind of like knock the wind. Like they weren't like breaking, and we didn't do the upkeep that you're supposed to do on green onions. Like, I heard you're supposed to trim them and like, you know, to get them like uniform and growing at the same like whatever. We didn't do anything. We just watered.
Mm-hmm. And fertilized.
We did fertilize this year.
And there's still some out in the garden, which I think are still okay.
I think they are too.
But we have so much in the freezer that I don't think we'll probably ever need green onions. And we
did.
have been using them, and I don't think ever since we harvested them we've gotten green onions. So I think it'll work out.
I think we did harvest them too late because they were huge when we harvested them, and I don't think they're supposed to get that big. Or maybe they are in the store. It's just like
and I think
small.
I think it's better that they're huge. You don't need to plant as much. You know. But I also think if we were ever to do crops like that, I would say in order to have it be ready to be harvested like throughout the summer, you would have it in stages. You would plant a row, and then a week or two, probably 2 or 3 weeks later, you plant another row.
Isn't that called like succession planting or something?
I don't know what it's called.
I watch a lot of gardening stuff. I just haven't, I guess.
And I also think, so our cucumbers, like the plants themselves, didn't seem to... I mean, I think it produced quite a few cucumbers, but we just never really looked. It's
also, what's annoying to me is it's so sporadic when they do produce. Like, if I want cucumbers, like, I want more than one cucumber at a time. Like, so I can actually make something with it or do something with it. Like, tomato, like, what am I going to do with the tomato this big and there's nothing else ready? Like, that's what annoys me. Like, if I had cucumbers and there was, like, 3 or 4 ready to be harvested at the same time, then I can actually use them. But the problem is, to do that, you have to plant a lot more, and then we still have way too much. So.
And I think our neighbors have a sunflower plant out in their front, and I'm not sure if they've ever planted it or if it just came up and then it came up again. But we had one last year come up in the front, in just one single plant, and then these neighbors over here have like a lot of them. And
their garden is...
I think that if we do... I really want to do sunflowers. I
want flowers in general.
Flowers around it. 1, for the bees, but 2, because it looks pretty.
The smell. It'd be nice to just have cut flowers and you can put them in a vase. Like, you can give them to people. They're just pretty to look at.
And I would say if we had the money, the garden would look different and it would probably be bigger. And eventually it will. But for right now, I think the space that we have and the quality of the fence is fine. I don't really want to do raised beds, at least not right now. I think direct sown in the ground is fine. I think it works. I think that's what we should be doing. But I don't know. I don't really know. I do think we need to get our own tiller. I think we need to start doing... maybe it's just a smidge more research, but I think not putting them in tires, letting them have more space, it was the way to go. I'm surprised that there was probably like a week where we didn't water, like a whole week, and everything's fine.
The problem is I heard that blossom end rot for tomatoes is because you're watering too much, and I'm like, well then why are we having that? Because we don't water enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even though it's hard to pick only a handful or a couple of things, I feel like we need to become experts in those plants before we start.
I was just trying to figure out how to say that. I think the few plants that we have, the few types of produce, we need to figure out what they need. Because, I mean, even the seed packets don't really, I don't know, say too much. And there's just so many. But yeah, I think really, that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say other than just been busy and haven't been keeping up with it. And some of it was sad, and I didn't get really any cantaloupe that I can actually eat. I mean, out of the whole plant, only 2 produced, and they were small. They were good, but they were small. And then for the watermelons, we had 2 big plants. One was stunted a little bit, but they both produced, and we had probably 6 watermelons to test, and they're all bad, and there's a few more out there still. So I don't know. I just think better with weeding, better with figuring out what they need and what the plants, if they are getting too much water or whatever. But I'm excited for next year because hopefully we can spend a little bit more time, a little bit more money and effort into it. because it's also fun. You know, like we just said, it's a hobby, and hobbies should be fun. We're not doing it because we're really trying to save money. I think we're doing it because it's interesting. It's fun. I think and another thing is we can't ever keep plants alive in our house.
Inside, I know.
Like we had a plant from our friend from our housewarming party, and that lasted a while. It like died and regrew, but it just finally just stopped. It just died. There was another plant that we got for here that lasted a while, and then it died, and then kind of came back, and now it's completely dead. And I don't know what it is.
I don't want to blame stuff on the cats, but I think having pets is hard because you can't just like leave stuff out. Like there's not a good place with good lighting to leave a plant that the cats can't reach. Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of it.
Like even the ones sitting here hanging from the ceiling that aren't very accessible, the cats will get to it. And I don't know. I don't want fake ones, but I mean, even if they were fake, they would get to it anyways and destroy it because for some reason they like plastic. They like plants to chew on. They like to chew on stuff. I don't know. But eventually we'll have tons of plants. Inside and outside.
Oh, okay.
I think, eventually. I love those, like, mid-century modern or boho, like, houses that have plants galore. I want to walk in and I just want to feel like I'm in what is it called? A planetarium? Is that what it's called?
No.
A terrarium?
A terrarium might be closer. Planetarium is like
the space
one.
I want to feel like that too, but I think, with that being said, do you have any more comments? I kind of went through everything. I think that'll be it for today's video. I think there's going to be one more, maybe a final video of the garden.
Harvest that watermelon.
See what that watermelon's like, and then to maybe talk about plans for next year, just roughly, and then after that, and then that'll be the next season. I am going to go through and rename all of the first season episodes because I figured out a way to make it make sense. But yeah, other than that, that'll be it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to smack the like button as hard as you can. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys all next time.